people have struggled endlessly. You go from listening to a podcast, reading a book, you learn about information, and then, the bleep hits the fan, and the question is, you don't do it, right? It's the New Year's resolution dilemma.
Okay.
I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to go to the gym every day. 3 days later, you stop doing it. And so scientists have spent a ton of time trying to figure out, why are we so bad at following through with our intentions, and how do we make people better? And you could boil down the decades of research into a simple framework called WHOOP. Here's what it stands for. The W, that's step one, that's your wish. So what is your goal? So your goal might be to calm the chatter down, like reduce the noise when you find yourself slipping into that state. That's the goal I want to achieve.
Okay,
Like,
that's the wish.
that's the wish. Okay, the first O, that's the outcome. So what's going to happen to you if you achieve that goal?
I'm going to have less stress. I am going to cause less drama for myself and other people. I am going to feel more at peace and more in control, because all of this negative chatter and overwhelm that becomes very paralyzing makes me feel out of control and incapable. So the outcome would be very positive.
So great job.
Okay.
And the reason we focus...
I love the affirmations. Just hang around all day.
Hey, I'm happy to give them, but it's true. And the reason why we do the outcome next, now, like, you've articulated your goal, we want to energize you. Like, this is a goal worth pursuing. This is worth my time. So now you're in this energized state for pursuing this goal. Now we get to the second O, which are the obstacles.
Okay.
The personal obstacles that are going to stand in the way of you achieving this goal. So what might be an obstacle that might prevent you from turning the volume on your chatter down?
I am fluent in negative self-talk.
Okay.
I am fantastic at criticizing myself. I can whip myself into a human tornado in a nanosecond. And it can be very effective when I get into a tizzy, because other people try to help.
Okay.
So I think those are all lots of obstacles.
So-
like just being honest about, like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can do it would be an obstacle.
Yeah. So you mean turn the volume down?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've just gone through your obstacles. So what we would then do, we
Yeah.
would focus on one of those obstacles to start, and we get to a P, which is our plan.
Okay.
But it's not any kind of plan. It's what we call an implementation intention. It's easier to call it a plan.
Yes.
It's basically an if-then plan. So if I find myself doom casting and becoming, this savant in negative self-talk, then, and you plug in what you are going to do. You plug in the tools that you are going to use in that situation. So if I find myself berating myself incessantly, then I'm going to coach myself using distant self-talk.
Mel,
Go
you
f-
can handle this.
go
It's
for
not
a-
that big of a deal.
Go for a walk in nature.
That's another tool in your book. Go for a walk in nature.
Jump into the mental time travel machine. Go forward and back. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Right? So
Let's talk about it right now. What do I do?
Okay, so
Because I'm starting to go, what is it? I'm not going to remember it.
mental time travel are these are two of the most useful tools that I possess, along with distant self-talk. Super simple.
Okay.
We talk a lot about the importance of being in the moment, grounding ourselves in our breath. That is useful. But what we forget when we talk about being in the moment is, number one, our minds evolved to travel in time. And you can actually use that to your benefit. So, number one, how am I going to feel about this issue next week, next month, next year? Most of our emotions follow a time course. They get triggered, and as time goes on, they eventually subside. Most of our emotional experiences follow that trajectory, but when we are stuck in chatter, we just zoom in on the awfulness. It feels like it's never going to end. When you jump into the time travel machine, how am I going to feel about this 10 years from now, 20 years from now? It highlights the fact that what you're going through, as bad as it is, it's not permanent. Things will eventually get better. It gives you hope. And that turns the volume on our chatter down. That's one thing. That's mental time travel to the future.
I think that could work.
That's powerful for me.
And then that helps me also access the positive distance talk that you've taught us.
Exactly.
Which is if I time travel even 2 weeks, like a week from now, you've already packed and been on the trip and now you're home. Like it's not that big of a deal. And then I can start to go, Mel, take a deep breath. You're capable of packing.
You got it. So you're blending these tools, which is also how these things actually operate in daily life, right? So we go back to the one thing. It's not one. Now we're doing two.
And you know what else I want to point out, because I think it's important to keep highlighting this. You've given us other tools of creating a ritual and playing music and going outside and taking a walk. In that moment, playing a song and taking a walk would just stress me out more.
Don't do it.
Right? And but I can see how now you're starting to build this toolkit.
That's right.
Where I'm not going for a walk right now, but I can time travel to calm myself down. And then I can use positive distance talk to say, Mel, you can pack a bag.
That's right. So you can customize the tools based, again, on who you are and the circumstances you're in. So let's close the loop, though, on mental time travel, because we just talked about going into the future. You could also go into the past. Works a little bit differently. For me, this is my, is ace in the hole the right term? I think it is.
I don't know. What does it mean?
It's like my secret superpower.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I think I might have gotten it wrong, but that's okay. So
we'll give it to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now you're giving me the aphorisms. This is reciprocal. It goes very well. So the story I open up my second book with, Shift, is a story of my grandmother in World War II, surviving the Nazis basically slaughtering her whole family. My grandmother's my ace in the hole. When things feel so big and just kind of, how am I possibly going to get through this? I jump into the mental time travel machine. I go back to 1940 whatever. I spend just a little bit of time with my grandmother in my mind. And what that does for me is it zooms me out. It makes it super clear to me that what I'm going through, as difficult as it is, it pales in comparison to what she went through and survived. And I think we all have those personal experiences or experiences in our family or in our culture that you can anchor on to put what we're going through in perspective.
Is there something you would add to that, though? Because if you're a world-class self-critic and berater, I could see that strategy being something that only becomes more evidence, where you go, and you're such a piece of crap that you're sitting here working yourself up about this thing. How you know what I'm saying? Like you actually so how do you take that to give yourself perspective, but then keep yourself lifted in your capacity to coach yourself through it?
You want to keep the spotlight on the challenge that they endured compared to what you're dealing with right now.
Right.
And really use it as a source of motivation. Exactly. Not to, you don't want to slip back into anything sets you off. That would defeat the purpose of that exercise. And if you find that doing that leads you into that territory, don't use that tool. Use a different one.
That's great.
And that's a really important take home for these tools. Different tools work for different people in different situations.